Well, you'll see Terence Crawford here in action coming up in just a bit here from Omaha, Nebraska. Better than 11,000 fans inside this building. All of them here to see the three-division world champion. WBO welterweight champion set to put his title on the line against Jose Benavidez. Bad blood between this two. Benavidez 27-0, a former champion looking to reclaim another title, the WBO welterweight crown, as boxing continues from Omaha. We're back here in Omaha, Nebraska, counting you down to the main event, 11:15 Eastern time. This was the scene yesterday inside the ballroom in this building. The weigh-in, Jose Benavidez Jr. shoving Terence Crawford, who retaliated with a right hand, fortunately missed, and perhaps by doing so saved this title fight tonight. And again, back inside the CHI Health Center Arena in Omaha, Nebraska, Kevin Connors, five-time world champion Andre Ward counting you down, 11:15 Eastern time here on ESPN. You'll see Crawford, Benavidez in the ring. Crawford has a sterling resume, arguably the best pound-for-pound fighter in boxing. There may be some people saying, what about Benavidez? Andre, does he belong in a fight like this? Does he belong in a fight like this?
I think he does. I mean, he has a deep amateur background. He comes from a fighting family, and he's a top contender. He's prime and ready for this moment, but he's got to check some boxes. He's got to show that he can deal with the lights like we talked about earlier. This crowd that we just found out is not 11,000, but 13,000, and he's facing arguably the best fighter in the world. If he can deal with that tonight, maybe a star can be born.
You're a guy who has been involved in some emotional fights throughout the course of your career. What's it like, and we've seen all the emotion bubble over this week, what's it like for both fighters when they get in the ring, controlling that emotion?
Well, for Benavidez, I don't know if he can control it because he's bringing a street mentality to a boxing ring, and I don't know if that's going to work. It's going to be a lot more technical than he thinks it's going to be in there. Crawford has been there and done that. He's been on this stage before, and he actually likes an antagonist. He likes somebody pushing him, and I think it could possibly backfire on Benavidez tonight.
We talked about this a bit yesterday on the weigh-in show. Crawford is 5'8", Benavidez is 6.0. He says he wears that as a badge of pride as a Mexican fighter, being 6 feet tall. That 4-inch height advantage, what kind of a role can that play in this fight?
It won't really matter. I mean, both guys are experienced. Both guys, they just have to judge their distance and judge their range. Terence Crawford does really, really well against tall fighters. Benavidez, he does well against tall fighters. It's going to be all about who can control their emotions and who can execute tonight.
We can't wait to show it to you here on ESPN. And a reminder, Friday, November 16th, our top-ranked boxing main event features Maurice Hooker defending his WBO junior welterweight title for the first time against #1 contender Alex Saucedo at Chesapeake Energy Arena in Oklahoma City, Saucedo's hometown. It'll be here on ESPN. ESPN Deportes beginning at midnight Eastern, 9 Pacific. You can see the entire card streaming live on ESPN+. Terence "Bud" Crawford entering his 12th championship bout. Ranked first or second on nearly every pound-for-pound list. He shares the honors with lightweight champion Vasily Lomachenko as the two top fighters in the world. He sparkled in his last fight against Jeff Horn, really put on a show. He was raised here in Omaha by a tough-love mom, and Miss Deborah is not shy when it comes to her world champion son.
What he remembers is all those years wanting for you to say,
I love you.
yes.
Yep. Yes.
And you didn't do it.
Nope. I grew up not liking the word. Why? I don't know.
She hate that word. She said love is pain.
Joe Tessitore and the guys back here in Omaha, Nebraska, as we now are just moments away from the much-anticipated world title fight between Terence "Bud" Crawford and Jose Benavidez Jr. You want to talk about being a hometown attraction. Look at this crowd. Over 13,000 here to see Bud Crawford in Omaha. Omaha, where he's born and raised, where he's building a home that sits on 20 acres. 20 acres, big enough for all his dogs, including the red-nosed pit bull he acquired, who accompanied him during this training camp, where he worked so hard to get to this point. 20 acres that will also include a pond that he plans to stock with fish, because as Bud Crawford likes to say, I compete at everything, including fishing. And isn't that fitting? Because he has been reeling in a life that he wanted to catch. He is Omaha through and through. And these locals know the story of a little boy from the tough streets who started fighting at 7 years old and demanded so much of himself that he became the best in the world. His greatest climb to the top of the mountain happened in August of 2017. That's when he did what no other fighter has done in a decade plus. He became an undisputed champion, capturing all 4 belts at 140 pounds. Now at 147, he's a 3-division champion. What he takes most pride in, though, is being a responsible father of 5. He makes every school event. He goes to every sporting event, including his son's wrestling tournaments, he will gladly brag about, as I'm joined once again by Mark Kriegel. You have found Bud Crawford to be an absolute fascinating study, and you have told me time and time again his ability to switch things up, his ability to adapt. That doesn't just mean in the ring, it means in his life.
You delve into the lives of fighters, usually you'll find instances of trauma and pain that made them fighters. In my experience, it's usually the relationship with their fathers. Jose Benavidez, case in point. For Bud, however, it's his mother, Miss Deborah, who drove him to be what he is today. It's not that they don't love each other, they do intensely. It's just that the expression of that love is something fierce.
Omaha, to me, is home. I think that's where all the pain came from. When I go down to the neighborhoods that I grew up in, that just remind me and reflect back off where I came from.
3169 Larimore Street. Take me back to your block.
And that's where it all started at. Me going in the street, putting on the gloves, me fighting in the alleys. Just a typical bad kid running the neighborhood.
What did you say when he was born?
I remember he came out with his hands balled up. Son, the son I wanted. His dad said we got $1 million baby boy.
My dad used to tell my mom I was gonna be a world champion.
I told him he wouldn't be
Terence's father, your husband, shipped out. So now you're here with 3 kids. What was that like for you?
If Bud was around the corner fight, somebody gonna come and tell me. I go around and get him, snatch him up, and bring him home.
And?
And he know what time it was.
He got whooping.
He sure did.
What kind of whooping?
An ass whooping with a belt.
Tell me about Deborah and Terence. It's a complicated relationship.
Man, you know, she has her own ways to motivate her son. She has her own way of loving her son. But they love each other, man. They're 2 peas in a pot together.
You kept telling him, are you never going to amount to anything? Did you really believe it?
Some things that I said to him, I wanted him to be a man. And don't be afraid of nobody.
That's a hard lesson to learn. You're 12, 13.
Yeah, but he had to learn it.
How'd that make you feel?
It filled me with rage. And every time I stepped foot in the ring or anything that I ever did, I just wanted to win so bad so I can prove a point to her.
How'd you think he'd do?
He did good because he was around here beating up everybody in the neighborhood. I paid the kids, I said, if y'all can whoop Bud, I give y'all $10 a piece. Could none whoop him.
You went out on the street.
Yeah.
What's now Bud Crawford Street.
Yeah.
And offered $10 to anyone who can kick my son's butt.
Yep.
And a lot of takers.
Yeah,
no
the kids in the neighborhood. Couldn't nobody whoop him.
What did he tell you then?
He told you, Mom, I told you I'm the best.
What came first, the mean or the talent?
I think the mean came first. When I first started boxing, I just could fight. I couldn't box. All my coaches was like, he got heart. He ain't scared of nothing, he can fight. That's when they started teaching me technique and the art of boxing.
A good deal of what you remember in your childhood was
You were getting whooped all the time by your mom.
And I was getting kicked out of school and doing bad things. I think getting whooped, that just made me immune to pain.
Explain that to me.
Well, I was always getting in trouble, so I was always getting a whooping for something. So at a point in time, it just became numb to me. Well, it ain't gonna hurt. It ain't nothing but a belt or something.
First time it hurt, though.
Yeah, I was a little kid.
And at some point, the whooping stopped.
Yeah, I wasn't having all that.
He was 13 when he said, Mom, you're not gonna whoop me no more. He took the belt from me.
I grabbed the belt and told her, you ain't about to hit me no more. All that's out the window. I ain't getting whooped no more.
Did that change you?
No, I think I got more respect, you know, from my mom.
You once told me I was fighting for her approval, for her to tell me she was proud or happy, but she never would, so I stayed angry. Explain that to me.
When she always telling you you're gonna lose or you're not good enough or you're gonna get your ass kicked or things like that, it's like, okay. When I win this tournament, she gonna say congratulations or good job or I'm proud of you, but it never happened.
What he remembers is all those years wanting for you to say,
I love you.
yes.
Yep. Yes.
And you didn't do it.
Nope. I grew up not liking the word. Why? I don't know. Never liked the hugs growing up as a kid. I never liked nobody to kiss me growing up as a kid, and it just grew with me as I got older.
She hate that word. She said love is pain. Her support was in a different type of way, you know, it was in a negative way, but when I got older, I noticed that it was her negative way that pushed me to be great.
You still trying to prove something to your mom?
No, I think I already did all that. I proved stuff to myself now.
You're a father to 5. You never miss a game, an appointment, any of that, even when you're here in camp. Why?
That's my responsibility, is to be there as their father. You can't get those moments back.
Why do you think being a father is so important?
Because his dad wasn't around like he's around his kids.
When my child grow up, they gonna always remember, yeah, Dad was always in training camp. Dad was always on the road with boxing and the events, but Dad ain't never missed no birthday. Dad ain't never missed anything important. Dad was always there, and that's what they're gonna always remember.
Your mom ever tell you what a good father you are?
Yeah, she said it before. Yeah, she said, Bud, a great dad. Now I always check, I say I'm a great father. It's the difference.
Would you be Terence Crawford, the champion we know, if it weren't for that dynamic with you and your mom?
I think she just put the little extra fire, you know, on top of the fire that I already had.
You made him champion.
He made himself champion. I'm just proud of him because he's my son.
Incredible piece, Mark. She put a little extra fire in him, didn't she? From offering $10 to any kid in the neighborhood who could beat up her son, to now Bud Crawford, that son, with an 8-figure, multi-fight, multi-year contract with Top Rank to fight right here on ESPN. We are moments away right now from the world title fight. He's dealt with a lot in life. Recently, he has had to deal with the mouth of Jose Benavidez Jr. And it's been interesting to see how he's dealt with that.
He's in a different place than Benavidez. The reformation of Bud Crawford really began 10 years ago when he got shot, but it's more than that. He's a father of 5, and I think that learning to be a father, a real present father, taught him to be a real man.
Well, that real man is about to try to defend his welterweight championship of the world. This was the scene yesterday at the weigh-in, staring right through Benavidez Jr., the undefeated challenger. And this is the moment that awaits. The final hitting of the pads. The ring walk for Crawford, Benavidez, and the fight when we return to Omaha. There's bad blood here. Something's been brewing for a long time between Crawford and Benavidez Jr. Jose, at one point, supposed to be everything Bud turned into. Now is his chance to prove he is all that. All week long, he's gotten into Crawford's face. Verbal barbs sharp enough to have emotions erupt. That was yesterday's weigh-in. And so it comes to this. A new era of boxing, a new star who fights in his hometown. Omaha, packed, over 13,000 local fans at the CSI. Top-ranked boxing on ESPN with the promotional company Centerpiece and the tail of the tape presented by Geico. And the measurable that stands out, the height. The challenger, the undefeated Benavidez Jr. is 4 inches taller. He's 6 foot. But note the CompuBox line that you see as Bud lands 48% of his power punches. The typical top welterweight lands 37%. That old phrase that if you're going to talk the talk, you better walk the walk, it was meant for this guy right here. Jose Benavidez has talked plenty, and he's gone low with some of it. Seemingly strategic, otherwise he's showing cracks of self-confidence. He will tell you he has always been destined for this moment. At 16 years old, he was the youngest national Golden Gloves champ ever. At 17, the youngest to ever be licensed to fight in Nevada. That's because he was that good. Now at 26, undefeated. His brother David, unbeaten at 168 pounds, a recent titleist. And Jose himself confidently says, I will expose Bud Crawford. I'm ready, I'm strong, I'm hungrier. Welcome to Bud's backyard, Jose Benavidez Jr. A tidal wave of boos crashing down on him right now, but he has been bold and brazen throughout. Everybody's trying to record history here. The largest crowd to ever see Bud Crawford includes Warren Buffett, right in the middle of them all. The Omaha legend coming out to see the new guy in town. The champion of the world. He doesn't sit in the front row. He's a man of the people, as is this guy. For Terence Bud Crawford, it is time to do what you said you're going to do. Defend your turf. For weeks, he has heard about Benavidez coming here to Omaha and setting up camp. Showing up at barbershops that Bud goes to. Bumping into Crawford's own family. He's heard the jaunt, he's heard the barking, and now he hears these fans. A hardened past, a gunshot victim. He grew out of it. He says a life that made him the man he is. guy who was born with an inner fire to constantly compete. All about being the best. And tonight, he can once again prove to the world that he is. And deliver to these locals the signature finish they crave. This is Crawford country, folks. Omaha, Nebraska. Nowhere to run once he goes up those steps and climbs inside the ropes. Wait till you hear this reception for Terence "Bud" Crawford. There's Miss Deborah and the family ringside. A lot of pre-fight is built with hype and promotion. This one stands on a foundation of pure hatred, vitriol, loathing, and red-hot heat that they've been spewing all week long. What do you say we get ourselves this title fight? Here's Lupe Contreras.
Ladies and gentlemen, we continue here at the CHI Health Center. Once again, the action being brought to you by Hall of Fame boxing promoter Bob Arum's Top Rank Incorporated. Sponsored by Geico and Tequila Cazadores, born in Los Altos de Jalisco. Our officials at ringside, WBO President Francisco Paco Valcarcel. Supervisor is John Duggan. Our three judges at ringside are Levi Martinez, Glenn Feldman, and Robert Echo. At the sound of the bell, the man in charge of the ring, Celestino Ruiz. And now, ladies and gentlemen, prepare to be entertained. Omaha, Nebraska, this is the main event. This bout, 12 rounds on the line, the WBO Welterweight Championship of the World. Introducing first, the fighter standing in the blue corner. He enters the ring as a challenger and wearing red camo with gold trim. He weighed in at an official 145 pounds. And he enters the ring an undefeated professional with 27 victories, 18 of those victories coming by way of KO. The former interim super lightweight champion of the world, Puro PHX, Phoenix, Arizona, Jose Benavidez Jr. Across the ring in the red corner, wearing black with fuchsia and red trim. When he stepped on the scale, he weighed in at an official 145 1/2 pounds. Started from the bottom now. He enters the ring. Pound for pound king with 33 victories. 24 of those victories coming by way of KO. The former lightweight, former undisputed super lightweight. And tonight, making the first defense of his WBO Welterweight Championship of the World. Born, bred, and repping Omaha, Nebraska, Terence "Bud" Crawford.
He looks right through his opponents.
Gentlemen, we went over the dressing room. We went over the rules in the dressing room. Keep it clean, protect yourself at all times. Let's do this.
Celestino Ruiz wants them to touch him up. And they do. Joe Tessitore alongside two-division world champion Timothy Bradley and Mark Kriegel ringside. All the talk is done. It's time to fight. Benavidez, Crawford, WBO welterweight championship of the world.
See both guys right now trying to figure the range out, the speed, the distance.
See how much taller Benavidez is. He is not, however, longer than Bud Crawford.
No, not as far as
arm reach goes.
I always find that fascinating with Bud, his ability to get around, especially with that looping right hand. Remember, he will switch stances. Benavidez no stranger to that as well. He opens up orthodox to start this evening.
See Crawford right away moving, trying to create things with his feet, using his jab in spurts. Benavidez is stocking right now with a strong, stiff jab.
Remember, they're two natural counterpunchers. I have to think that was some of the purpose behind Benavidez egging him on and antagonizing in the way he did. He wants Crawford to come forward and attack.
Crawford giving him a smile, a little nod of the head when he went with that jab to the body. Benavidez tried to catch him with that left hand as he came forward. And now drops his guard and pumps defensively for a moment.
Benavidez showing right away that he's not scared of Terence Crawford. He's stalking him, getting Terence Crawford on his bicycle.
Benavidez not just the height, but naturally the bigger man who walks around significantly north of where he fights at. He checked in at what I found to be a surprising 145 pounds.
He's a natural welterweight since adolescence, and he's fought as high as 54.
Now the switch in stance from Crawford.
Benavidez right there landed two jabs on Crawford. Crawford trying to step in and counterpunch, but you see it's a little difficult. Benavidez is controlling the outside range with that jab while he's stalking.
Tim, you like the early work with that jab of Benavidez.
He's going to have to out-jab Terence Crawford. The jab is what sets up everything for Terence Crawford.
And then Crawford sitting on top with that now southpaw right jab as he comes in with a straight left to the body that scores here.
Crawford got to be careful when lunging. He lunged with that straight left. Benavidez is a good counterpuncher.
Bud shakes that off. We're going to take just one short break here and then back to Crawford and Benavidez. Stick around. Jose Benavidez Jr. would be too emotional, too amped up. He was in control in that first round.
I agree with you. I hadn't winning the round by virtue of his jab. Let's remember, however, Crawford took exception with Tim yesterday. I'm not a slow starter, but I think he is. I think he takes a certain amount of time to download his opponent's information, as it were.
I have to agree with you, Mark, on that. He does, but I like what I'm seeing right now from Benavidez. He got Crawford kind of tentative and not committing right away. Crawford, most of the time, likes to commit after that jab, and Benavidez is standing his ground and not allowing him to commit with anything after his jab.
And just for the layman out there, Tim, when you say commit with the jab, the natural counter-punching to fire it off. Fire comes at you, you come over with the counter-punch that matches up.
Absolutely, and that's how you need to do it. But Benavidez is keeping him honest with his footwork, taking a half a step back like that, and he's also firing back with his jab, making Terence Crawford tentative to fire the left hand.
I think Terence has to go to the body. Jab, then go downstairs.
Well, I would take my attention downstairs. You see how big that frame is from Benavidez, but Terence right now is picking to choose to see if he can wear him down a little bit mentally. Just get him to make mistakes. Crawford trying to change levels right now. It looked like he's trying to land something over the top.
Got to give Terence a little time, Terence.
There he is.
There he goes to the body. It was a left hand to the body from Crawford. Benavidez shakes it off. He says, isn't anything.
Crawford has extreme concentration. He can concentrate for 36 minutes and figure it out in there.
Benavidez leaning forward, guard down, trying to draw Crawford in. Crawford steady. There's Miss Febra. Always an interesting watch ringside.
Step back, step back. Box.
He's got that right hand fisted up.
See, what I like with Benavidez, he's taking the jab away from Crawford. And that's one thing you got to do when you fight Terence Crawford. You see him fire back with his jab right there. Benavidez.
Good exchange.
Welcome to my store. It's one not bound by walls or limited by inventory or restricted by time. The only rule here is to untether your imagination and unleash it on the world. You won't believe what's in store.
Rated E.
PlayStation.
Endless Shrimp is back at Red Lobster with all the shrimp you want, any way you want them. There's new sesame ginger grilled shrimp with savory soy ginger sauce and sprinkled with Asian seasoning and favorites like garlic shrimp scampi. But Endless Shrimp won't last endlessly, so hurry in.
Why do I feel so dry?
You made that?
That last round saw the body work from Bud Crawford, and then that exchange at the end when each man just had the glancing blow, but a willingness to throw. Round number 3 here, Crawford and Benavidez.
I'm taking with Benavidez' confidence. He's never fought in a fight like this. He's never fought an opponent this good, and you can tell he believes he's supposed to be here. He says Terence Crawford ducked him. I don't find any evidence of that. But in boxing, the imagined slights are usually more important than the real ones.
Terence Crawford right now trying to get his jab working and trying to pick up the pace on Benavidez.
Jab going from there. There's another body shot that got around the left arm of Benavidez. So that's the second time Bud Crawford has scored well with that right hand to the body. That hook from that southpaw stance with the hot pink gloves. You can tell with the trunk and the gloves, breast cancer awareness top of mind for the champ.
There, Terence Crawford coming around the guard there. Benavidez has a tendency of going to that peekaboo, that shell defense. And Crawford coming around the elbow of Benavidez to land that body shot.
Tim, can Crawford also come off the jab and shoot a straight left hand?
He definitely can, but he has to be careful because Benavidez, like I said, is a great counterpuncher. He has a good right hand.
Doubles up the right hand that time, does Crawford. There he works his way to the inside. It included yet another body punch. This is a good-looking third round for Bud Crawford.
I think the information is downloaded now, Tim.
Seems that way, doesn't it, Mark?
But you see that right knee of Benavidez pulling straight back, getting caught with those combinations and putting those earmuffs on. That's target practice for a guy like Terence Crawford.
The right knee is the knee that was shot. A bullet went through the femoral artery. It fractured the bone. And according to people who have worked in the Benavidez camp, Alex Ariza, his former strength and conditioning coach, that knee is not yet ready for an opponent like Terence Crawford.
Absolutely, it's not. It's not ready.
Benavidez concedes it will never be 100%. The question is, was this the right time to take the fight?
See that brace on the right knee. Right knee that's trying to support that back power and get out of the way of range from Bud Crawford, who has had so much success going to the body in this round, taking control here.
How does Dove Men Plus Care Antiperspirant protect you differently?
This is soothing. It's comfortable.
Dove goes on smoothly. You don't have to worry about drying out your skin. Try Dove Men Plus Care, the only antiperspirant with 48-hour sweat protection and Dove's 1/4 moisturizer technology. Tough on sweat, not on skin.
The NBA on ESPN is back Wednesday, presented by State Farm.
Hey, I'm going to lunch. You want some lunch?
Well, here's some body work from the champion, Bud Crawford, stepping in behind the jab. You see the peekaboo defense there, even though Benavidez shook that off. He landed those hard body shots on Benavidez. And here it is again. When you put that peekaboo defense up with those hands up, it leaves an opening for the outside to the body around the elbows of Benavidez.
Round number 4. The two undefeateds. One of the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. That's Terence Bud Crawford. Trained by Brian McIntyre, a.k.a. Bomac, who's with Bernardo.
Bomac, it seems that Terence is getting his rhythm here. What did you tell him? What do you want for round 4?
I told him to keep his hands up and go behind that double jab because Benavidez will catch the first jab, but he won't catch the second jab. After you throw the second jab, he'll try to cover up. You can get closer to him. So after you get closer to him, then you start going to the body, come back up to the head.
Say anything about the power of Benavidez?
No, ain't no power. He ain't got no power.
Thank you very much.
Bud just shook off a little taste of that power and stuck out his tongue at Benavidez. And it's an interesting and dynamic relationship between Bomac and Terence Crawford.
Let him go. Stop. Well, about 30 seconds ago, Benavidez landed some clean right hands. He landed 3 in a row. Bud Crawford trying to come in behind the jab, got caught coming straight down the middle on the way in with the right hand of Benavidez.
And you said, watch out for that right hand. Tried to go to the body there, Bud went up top. Now he comes sweeping across that belt line and came up short.
This is high-level prize fighting right here. These guys are at mid-distance range, exchanging shots, going back and forth, offense and defense by both of these guys.
And you look at the feet, Crawford's getting his right foot outside Benavidez' left.
And that is always critical when you watch the southpaw against the orthodox. Take note of that front foot of Bud Crawford. If he gets that outside position, and now all of a sudden there's a switch to southpaw with Benavidez. But that prime position, watch for it here.
Well, Benavidez was looking for some help by switching southpaw. He got hit with some good shots from Bud early on, and he's looking to just create things, different angles by switching southpaw.
I got news for you, fellas. Crawford's found his rhythm.
Oh, good right hand by Benavidez right on the belt line where it says Crawford in pink.
That's what Benavidez needs to do. He needs to go down to Crawford's body.
Here it is. Look to your left in super slow-mo as he plants it.
That was a little low. Right on the belt line right there.
Crawford off balance that time. Wildly intriguing round number 4 between these two unbeatens here in Omaha. Remember, Benavidez says, I'm not going to change who I am. He hasn't so far. He has stood right in there, landed that good right hand to the body moments ago. That had to bring some confidence to the corner of Benavidez. That's where we find Bernardo with Benavidez Sr.
All right, Jose. Third round was good for Crawford. Fourth round, what worked for Jose Jr.?
I think all the rounds Junior is getting him. I don't know what you've seen in the third round. I think he's boxing him beautiful. You know, he's making miss. You know, he can't feel the punch. And look, he's getting hit. Look at that, you know. But, of course, you got to go with the crowd, whatever you guys say. But I think he's doing really beautiful. He's going to the body. He's catching him with those straight right hands. Look at that. How can you tell me that? Look. But, of course, you know, you're in his hometown. Everybody, every time he touches a little bit, people makes it seem like it's big. But when he gets touched, nobody says nothing. It's like everybody's dead. But we're doing good. We're so happy. We got to maintain that jab. We got to try to go a little bit more straight punches to the body and make him get frustrated. You know, the good thing about this guy, he's not running, you know. That makes it easy, maybe because Junior is not following him, you know. So hopefully he can keep like that. I think we're happy with everything that we're seeing right now.
Thank you very much. You got a good read on how the situation's going.
Sure did. And not running makes a good night for you, the viewer, and these fans here. And by the way, in terms of the way the crowd reacts, they very much knew what they were getting themselves into, so much so to the point that Jose Jr. said, hey, this fight's not going a distance. I can't let that happen here in his hometown.
A little politicking by Jose Sr. there. Although, I think this has been an excellent round so far for Junior. And that right hand was a decisive blow in the previous round, the right hand to the body. It definitely hurt Crawford right as he was establishing a rhythm.
And then really let his hands go in the opening moments of this fifth round, Tim.
He did let his hands go. Crawford had his hands up. He blocked most of those punches. But Crawford right now is bringing his attention down to the body of Benavidez and having some success over the top with the right hook and occasional left hand when Benavidez try to pull out. Both guys probing, trying to get control of the lead hand. That's why you see all the hand gestures from both guys.
Benavidez was searching for that right hand to the body again. That time, he caught him with a short right hand as Crawford came in.
See, Crawford is right in front of Benavidez. Crawford should pick up his feet and use a little bit more angles and confuse Benavidez.
Perhaps a better test than many imagined for the great Bud Crawford. A guy who sits #1 atop so many pound-for-pound fighter in the world list. The guy who was #1 pound-for-pound, retired, now works for us. Kevin Connors is with Andre Ward.
All right, Tess, thanks. So much emotion, Andre, coming into this fight. Benavidez has acquitted himself pretty nicely so far. How do you see it?
I mean, it's a close fight. Some of the rounds are swing rounds. They can go either way. I probably have it 3-2 for Crawford right now. I think Crawford has to get inside mid-range and in close of the long reach of Benavidez because Benavidez is catching Terence Crawford on the way out the back door. Terence Crawford punches and he pulls back, and Benavidez has the luxury of catching him on the way out the door. Tight fight, but championship fights start after the 6th round.
How does Crawford get inside?
He's got to slip in. He's got to be confident to go behind his jab, like his trainer said, come behind a single or double jab and let his hands go.
Tim says that Crawford's had trouble landing that jab. We'll see how things play out, Joe, in round 6.
Thank you, Kevin and Andre. Interesting observations by the former 2-division champ. Speaking of champions, there's the recent WBC super middleweight world champion, David Benavidez. He's watching his older brother get his chance. Jose's older by 4.5 years, 27-0. This, the moment he's been waiting for. Taking on the best in the world, Terence Bud Crawford. You heard Andre say, real championship fights don't get started until after the 6th round. So here comes that halfway mark. Round number 6 for the WBO 147-pound title. Let's look at the CompuBox numbers as they're being tallied tonight. Total power punches. Remember, we mentioned the percentage of Crawford typically at 48%. He's tracking at 39% right now. Benavidez a tick lower at 38%. Competitive fight.
You mentioned, Joe, that this is more than most people imagine from Jose Benavidez, but it's not more than Jose Benavidez imagined as a kid when he was sparring with Manny Pacquiao, Amir Khan, Shane Mosley. He was 16, 17 years old.
And he was the prodigy. He was supposed to be the prodigy of this division.
Just pause and think about that for a moment. He was sparring Manny Pacquiao at 16 years old.
He even sparred me.
What was that like, Tim?
You know, like I said, he's a great counterpuncher. He'll wait on you. He'll use that jab occasionally, but he'll wait on you, and he'll fire some combinations back at you. Great counterpuncher. And he has good speed.
But his sense of himself as a fighter was based on those sparring sessions. He's never been in with anyone like that, except for when he was a kid.
Interesting moment right there as Bud came in and then the right hand came in at a downward angle. Good exchange right in the center of the ring.
And there's a difficulty basing your sense of yourself on sparring, also something that happened almost a decade ago.
Right now, Benavidez is having some success.
He is with that right hand, Tim.
Straight right hand, and also, like the champ said, he's catching Crawford on the way out. Crawford had a tendency of doing so, getting off and coming right back.
Three-punch combination moments ago by Crawford that spiked this crowd here. You saw him double up that left hand. Now he gets right into the kitchen of Benavidez. And he let him go again. This has been a good round here. Round number 6. Three-punch combination and another right hand to the body from Bud Crawford.
Pick him up, pick him up, pick him up.
End of 6 for the welterweight title. Joe, Tim, Mark, and Bernardo here ringside. They are on their feet in Omaha. It has been a very good first half of this world title fight. And now, as Andre Ward said, this is when it really happens. In fact, let's bring in the scorecard of the former 2-division world champion. As Ward has it 58-56 for Crawford.
Crawford right now controlling the outside. That's why he's able to land these shots. Benavidez has nowhere to go but back. While Crawford controlling the lead foot, getting outside of the left foot of Benavidez.
And that gives him position to do just that.
Yes.
To land the straight left hand. He has had so much success already with the right hand to that left flank of Benavidez. Here's David Benavidez, undefeated himself. Jose's brother, so talented at 168 pounds.
We see a lot of boxing dads who have sired one champion, but to my knowledge, there's none that have sired 2.
Jose Sr., the trainer of Jose Jr. Outrageous life story himself.
Looks like the movement of Crawford had Benavidez standing still.
I think that Crawford's fighting a little up, but in terms of stamina, it looks like Benavidez has less.
Well, at this point, all the body shots that Terence Crawford has landed is definitely doing his, making the toe, and doing his toe, and doing what he's supposed to do.
Bernardo has been monitoring both corners. What can you tell us, Bernie?
Well, Benavidez is doing exactly what his father doesn't want him to do. He wanted him to use a jab in this round, to not step straight back, to be more active. And Bomac called it the round before. He said, I see Benavidez breathing hard, and I think Bud is in a great place.
He came in, and Bud came at him. Final 30 seconds here of round 7.
You see there's no jab. Now Benavidez is willing to cover up right in front of Terence Crawford. That's a huge mistake.
He's tired.
He is tired.
And if you do that, you're going to have offense coming right at you.
It was from all the body shots Terence Crawford did early on.
What? When? How? Why?
Because. Use Old Spice.
She knows best.
CashNetUSA.com, man.
I help when money's tight.
If approved, you may get the money you need as soon as tomorrow.
Apply now at CashNetUSA.com.
Money's on the way with CashNet USA.
You can see Jose Sr. and Jr. trying to gather themselves after a very fine-looking 7th round from Bud Crawford.
Making a miss, making a pace short. Left hand right there.
This is what we've seen all night long, the facial expressions.
Yeah, you know the facial expression just means that, hey, you're getting to me. That's all that means. You're getting to me.
If you look at the facial expressions, no one's landed a good punch.
Let me tell you something. Bud has landed a few good ones, especially the right hand to the body and that left hand moments ago. Round 8. Is this the start of where Crawford takes control?
I'll tell you what I do see from the facial expressions between rounds. I don't see the same brio, the same confidence, the same type of willingness to attack from Benavidez that I did earlier in the fight.
Covering up like that doesn't work out so well when you're in with a pound-for-pound great.
You become an instant punching bag. But you see the fundamentals of Terence Crawford.
CompuBox numbers, you see them now, and you see the advantage that Crawford is starting to put together. Total punches outlanding him 93 to 63. And that gap looks like it's going to continue here.
This is the complete takeover round for Terence Crawford. Landing his best stuff to the head and body of Benavidez.
It's also something we've seen for a while now. Not just the facial expressions, but Benavidez' feet are flat.
Flat, no jab, no snap on his punches.
It's a great observation on the feet, Mark.
Fatigue.
Noticeable how it's changed. You know who else notices it? The guy opposite him.
Can still punch, though.
Oh, you better believe it. You always have a chance in this game. Benavidez comes in tonight with 18 knockouts among his 27 wins. Trying to put that right hand to the body against Crawford. Remember, he had success earlier tonight with that right hand to the body.
That's the bolo shot. Benavidez is trying to land.
Goes low, and then it sweeps across. Crawford, 3-punch exchange, including a left hand that splits the guard of Benavidez.
And of course, Benavidez shakes his head.
Once again, Benavidez put those earmuffs on.
You know, Benavidez obviously had a lot to prove tonight. But Crawford, this is his second fight at 147. He's still proving, if not to himself, then the rest of the division, you give me a big guy, I can handle it.
Benavidez really just stalking right in front of Crawford. Now he tries to put a combination together, and Crawford did the smart thing by stepping in, bodying up, and tying up Benavidez.
Angelo trying to pop that jab off the hip. Crawford comes in. Left hand, right to the body. Good exchange to close out the 8th. What answer does Jose Benavidez Jr. have now? Against Bud Crawford. In front of 13,323 local fans here in Omaha. Started boxing at age 7. For many years, he ran with the wrong crowd. Turned his life around, dedicated himself to simply be the best, and that's exactly what he is, the welterweight champion of the world.
Benavidez right now trying to time Terence Crawford coming in with the right hand. You see him sitting on that back foot right now, trying to draw him in.
I think he's pretty much made it concession that the way to win this fight, in answer to Joe's question, is that right hand coming in.
Every single time Benavidez put those earmuffs on, Terence Crawford takes advantage of that. He worked those hands. Not a lot of shots landing, but he lands when he goes down to the body. Comes around the elbows of Benavidez.
Andre Ward went with an even 6 rounds, but still Crawford up 78-74. Manning ringside have it 5 rounds to 3. Crawford.
Look at the beautiful work by Crawford, changing levels, going downstairs to be able to land some combinations up top like that. Right hook right there, and spinning around on the angle and not get hit. Benavidez right now is a little frustrated, I think. He's trying to catch up. Terence Crawford is not cooperating.
He can't match his legs. He can't match the feet.
Look at the feet. He just got out of range right there. Angles out right there. Terence Crawford.
He made the point before, that jab looks good when he throws it, but he's taking rounds off from that jab.
Honestly, it's the knee. I believe it's the knee. Nice shot right there from Benavidez. Catching Crawford as he pulls straight back.
A knee that just over 2 years ago was nearly destroyed by a bullet. And the doctors who gave him very little chance to ever return to the ring.
Well, it makes him one-dimensional. It makes him immobile. You know, he really can't move back. He pulls straight back. You're not going to win rounds like this, Benavidez. Not doing it.
Came through drippin', drip, drip. Came through drippin', drip, drip. Came through drippin', drip, drip. Diamonds on my wrist, they drippin'. Ice. Came through drippin', drip, drip. Came through drippin'.
Mountain Dew Ice, a clear, refreshing lemon lime dew.
How does Dove Men Plus Care Stain Defense go beyond sweat protection?
Clean. Doesn't stain my clothes.
I don't get the underarm pit stains.
We couldn't have said it better ourselves. Try Dove Men Plus Care Stain Defense for anti-stain and anti-mark protection.
Told you Jose Benavidez Jr. was a gunshot victim 2 years ago. August 2016. Walking his dog, was approached by a gunman, and a bullet pierced right above that right knee. Hit the leg's main artery, lost significant amount of blood. Has a steel plate in there, had emergency surgery. One doctor said flat out, you're never going to box again. Another said it's going to be a couple years before you're walking properly again. And here he is at 26 years old in the ring against the best in the world, and now searching for an answer. He talked so much, hoping to draw Crawford into a brawl. Round number 10.
Watch your feet, guys.
You know, I spent 2 months investigating that shooting. Nobody gets shot right above the knee walking his dog. Actually, it was a cat, too. It was an exotic $10,000 cat at midnight in Phoenix. Someone targeted him, and he knows it. Just doesn't know who.
Right now, he's got to worry about being targeted by Bud Crawford, who's stepping right to him as he covers up against the ropes, and Crawford's going to have some options. Places a right hand to the body. Probing now with a body shot again. Says, come at me. Got to be willing to fire back, though.
You got macho stuff on the ropes, ain't going to help him in this fight.
Right now, he's looking to time Terence Crawford with a right hand. You see him throw the right hand he tried as Terence Crawford went back. But Crawford recognizing that and blocked it.
Terence didn't give him the opportunity.
Smart fighter.
World-class fighter. Master craftsman. Another check in what the corners are saying. Here's Bernardo.
All right, in the corner of Terence Crawford, it wasn't Bomac with the instructions. Miss Deborah looked at Bud Crawford, said, Bud, can you hear me? He looked over, he said, last round, finish this.
So Mom is getting involved.
Mom's always involved.
Isn't that the truth?
Step back. Watch your head, guys. Box.
Well, you see the inconsistency of Benavidez's attack. He's standing right in front of Terence Crawford right now, not really using his jab. I want to see Terence Crawford turn it up a little bit more on Benavidez. He's there to be hit. Nice stinging body shot right there from Crawford.
Put that left hand right to the body. He wants to try to draw him in again. Wasn't successful earlier in doing so. Let's see what Benavidez comes up with here as Crawford looks to unload. Pushes him back. A right hand came with it from Benavidez.
This is exactly what Crawford needs to do. He needs to stay close, work the body, block and counter.
Benavidez with an offensive output. Crawford comes right back. Short left hook from Benavidez. Benavidez a little more willing here in round number 10. And Crawford always that way. Good stuff here. Here's Kevin and Andre.
Tess, thanks very much. Andre, maybe the best round of the fight. What stood out to you about round 10?
I mean, for the most part, the story of the fight is Terence Crawford is slowly pulling away, and he's starting to dominate the fight. Benavidez is showing that he's a worthy challenger, but he's not showing that he's worthy enough to defeat the champion. If he could do better, he would do better. This is the best that he's got.
Well, you made a great point about his body movement here in recent rounds. What have you noticed about Benavidez?
Well, he's fatigued. Fatigue is set in. The punishment that Terence Crawford has applied to the head and to the body starting to soak in a little bit. And clearly, Benavidez has some issues with the knee that he was shot in. I commend him for fighting as well as he has, but you can tell he's dragging it a little bit, and he's not explosive off of that back leg.
Test 2 rounds to go to award a championship belt.
The championship round, Kevin. That left hand by Terence Crawford in the last round, champ.
You see Benavidez pulling back. Cardinal rule, don't pull straight back. And Terence Crawford recognizing that and throws a sweeping left hand to land on Benavidez.
6 minutes for Crawford to hold on to that lofty perch he sits on. World champion, pound for pound elite. And 6 minutes for Benavidez to try to find the answer. Look at the power punches now. Crawford comes up 238 thrown, and that percentage now moves north to 42%.
We've talked before about Crawford basically torturing guys who've antagonized him, who've made it personal. He's not keeping Benavidez around because he wants to hurt him. It's Benavidez' chin that's keeping him up.
Chin in the heart. Chin in the heart of Benavidez.
Cut that out, guys.
Looking to place that right hand again is Benavidez. He is taking steps forward at least here in these championship rounds.
And that's exactly what he needs to do. He needs to walk down Terence, and he needs to let his combinations fly. You can't throw one punch at a time against Terence Crawford. He's too smart for that.
Notice that the two greatest fighters in the world, Terence Crawford and Vasily Lomachenko, beat bigger guys with their feet.
Feet that are underneath great skill, that get them in and out. They dart, they dodge, they create offense, and they provide elite defense. As now Benavidez looks to wrap up for a moment as Crawford came in.
Step back, step back, step back, step back.
Ruiz will separate them here. Maybe looking at a go-for-broke 12th round from the undefeated challenger as Crawford brings it a little bit. Crowd on their feet here in Omaha. They love the finish that they want to see.
Crawford doing a good job in recognizing that Benavidez is trying to counterpunch every time he does. So what he doing? He's sweeping with the check, right hook, and turning Benavidez in spots, which is smart by Terence Crawford. There it is again.
Sent off balance.
Check hook.
12th and final round awaits. Let's take it in.
Good round. Play it safe. Keep your hands up.
Ladies and gentlemen,
go home with this win. If you see it, go for it. But don't force it. You got to do no firefight. Este es el último round, listo, bajito, no te quedes muy alto. Let's go. Come here, Joe. Come here.
They touch a mark for the 12th and final round. Remember yesterday at the weigh-in, what almost touched the chin of Benavidez was the bare knuckles of Crawford. And now he's been tagged plenty. He said it's his time to come here and take care of business and prove everybody wrong. Well, time is of the essence. He trails well behind on the scorecards. Crawford is easily in control, and he's got 2.5 minutes to try to make that dream come true to Benavidez. Crawford gets himself out of that blue corner. How much does Benavidez want it?
Well, if he wants to be the champion he always saw himself as, the champion he was told he would become, he's got to sell out right now.
Got to
risk everything.
Right, Tim?
Got to go for it. And he is. He's trying. He's trying to stalk Terence and put combinations together to the head and body.
But where is that body shot we saw in the 4th round? Never came back with that.
Yeah.
There's the right hand that he landed then. Been absent since.
Crawford's always going to be smart and always concentrated. Every single round. And he's showing that he's more fundamentally sound than Benavidez.
Miles ahead.
I don't think Benavidez has done himself a disservice.
And not at all. Not at all. First half of this fight, highly competitive.
Terence Crawford got him backed up now.
Final minute. Crawford in front of the home fans.
Sitting on the ropes and shaking his head is not how he wants to end this fight, however.
Oh! Crawford gets him! My, oh my! What a shot! Half a minute to finish him awaits. Let's see how he goes about it. Best in the world. At home. Is he the finisher they all expect him to be? He is. What a huge right hand, and he has done it. That man is the best in the world. do you want a champion to act? How do you want them to close a show? What should it look like to deliver on everything you say? That 12th round is what it should look like. Shakur Stevenson, who had a show of his own earlier tonight and told this crowd what fun would do. Bud delivered. Jose Benavidez Jr. came in with all the talk and was game. He was 27-0. To steal a line from Raging Bull, ain't pretty no more. There's Miss Deborah, the son who she forged in the neighborhood Omaha. The incredible story of a complicated, hardened relationship with his mother. You heard what she said before this main event. She would pay who could take her son. Not many took it. And now that guy has an 8-figure contract to be king. The pound-for-pound best with the Hall of Fame promoter, Bob Arum.
I believe Terence lands an uppercut, a right uppercut, a punch he never threw through the whole fight. Short uppercut. Then he follows up to finish him with a right hook. Benavidez was hurt, still hurt from that first knockdown. And Terence Crawford with a big grin right there saying, yes, I told you so.
The right uppercut was unbelievable. The right hook was the ultimate finish. And here's everything they've wanted to hear all night long with Lupe Contreras.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Celestino Ruiz steps in and stops this bout with an official time of 2 minutes, 42 seconds of the 12th and final round. Declaring the winner by way of technical knockout, still the undefeated WBO welterweight champion of the world, repping Omaha, Nebraska, Terence Crawford.
34-0. 25 knockouts, and this one was simply scintillating. And that family is going to have a great night of celebration ahead. Another look before we hear from Bud the Man. A right uppercut for the ages, and then a finishing touch to rise above them all. We're going to hear from Bud Crawford when we return to Omaha. Top Rank Boxing on ESPN. Great show put on by Bud Crawford. That 12th round caps CompuBox numbers that really started to drive upward for the champ. Look at the power punches. That bottom column there. He landed 131 power punches, including the right uppercut that you don't often see, and then that right hook that finished the night. TKO 12 to stay perfect. Bud Crawford is with Bernardo.
All right, Terence, there was a lot of animosity, a lot of build-up for this fight, and we always talked about you punishing those that talk. Walk me through how you finished this fight in front of your home fans in round 12.
Oh, first and foremost, I got to give honor to God for blessing me with this victory. Without him, I wouldn't be here today. We just took our time today. Everything that went on this week, he was trying to get in my head, wanted me to have a firefight with him. We knew if we get in a rhythm, we can do whatever we want, and that's what we did today.
Now, I remember Bomac saying in the fighter meetings, it's going to be an easy fight. You said all fights are tough. How much credit do you give him for the early part of the fight and making you work for that?
Oh, he made me work in the early rounds. He was trying to counter me, working on my distance. I couldn't figure it out at first, but then once I got my distance, it was a wrap from there.
That uppercut, Walk me through that uppercut and then the finish with a right hook.
Oh, I've been seeing it rounds and rounds ahead of time, but I seen him pulling back. But then he started getting tired, so I seen him starting leaning more and more because I was touching him to the body. And then I just threw the shot and it landed.
I was there when Miss Deborah told you in round 10, Bud, this is the last one. Took you 2 rounds. What did she say after the fight?
Oh, she said it took you too long, but good job.
All right, the most important thing, the future. Right now, first title defense at 147. You proved that you're a true welterweight against a big guy like Benavidez. Who do you want next?
I want them all. I've been saying it all along, you know? It ain't my job to get the fights done. It's my job to want to fight the fights that everybody want to see. And I've been calling for all of them ever since I moved up in the division. So that's up to Bob and Terence.
All right, Omaha, you showed up and showed out for Bud Crawford. Tess,
shout out to all my fans that came out here to support me, all the Mexican fans that support me. Hey, we did it, baby.
Isn't that a great attitude? It's my job just to want the fight. He wants them all. He's got that new big multi-year deal. He's cashing in, and he's sending them out. Landed 17 power punches in that 12th round. The right uppercut. Look at how relaxed he was. And look at the reaction of Miss Deborah. Omaha, Nebraska. They got Warren Buffett, and they got the best boxer in the world. And we will hear from the guy he just knocked out, Jose Benavidez, in moments. But first, Mark Kriegel and Tim Bradley, let's take a look back at the night of action between the champ and the previously undefeated challenger, Benavidez.
Absolutely. From round 1 on, Benavidez making it a little difficult for Terence Crawford. You know, he's tall and rangy. In spots, he was able to counterpunch Terence Crawford. But as the fight materialized and as it got later and later, you see Terence Crawford take over, landing some body shots right there, and a couple of other shots there with the jab, which is very important punch to landing. More combinations here by Terence Crawford. The tongue sticking out, little sneak shots, pop shots like that one. The looping left hand right there by Terence Crawford. Straight left hand. He started finding his mark later in the fight. And in the 12th round, a punch that he never through the whole fight. The left uppercut, the right uppercut of Terence Crawford right here. Beautiful shot. Lands, and down goes Benavidez to end the night. And then he finishes it up with combinations. He's hurt. Terence Crawford's a great finisher. He gets you hurt, he's gonna finish you, without a doubt. Look at the combinations. Powerful shots by Terence Crawford, and down goes Benavidez. Big victory by Terence Crawford tonight.
Well, Benavidez found out the hard way that undefeated isn't necessarily prepared. This was a big jump up for him. This was something different.
Let's go up to Bernardo.
All right, thank you very much, Joe. There was a lot of animosity, a lot of talk before this fight. So what are your feelings for Bud Crawford after this?
I gave him a hell of a fight. Hey, I got caught at boxing, you know. Thought I was doing good, you know. I was putting pressure. We were a good fight, you know. He's a great fighter. We just wanted to give the fans, you know, I wanted to give the fans a fight that they paid for, you know, to come watch. And I think I gave him a hell of a fight. I know he didn't think I was going to be that good. I mean, I take nothing from him. He's the best for a reason. But I just want to thank everyone that came out here to support us, all my Mexican fans, everyone, you know. Just have to go back to the drawing board and work harder.
No doubt that early on you were using your length. What happened in the middle of the fight? Was it Bud adjusting, or did you get tired? What happened?
My legs started hurting. I hurt my leg, and it started backing me. You know, it started hurting me a bit. But I mean, I take nothing. There's no excuses. You know, he adapted. He's a good fighter. You know, but I'm a good fighter too. So I think I gave the shows a hell of a fight. The fans a hell of a fight. So, I mean, I had that fight close. I had it close.
You know, you talked about the leg. You said that it was never going to be at 100%. Was this worse than it had ever been in a fight?
Yeah, I gave out pretty bad on the 9th round. I try not to think about it, but I mean, not only that, you know, I take nothing from him. He's the best of the best. So, I mean, I feel like I did a good job. I just have to go back and train harder and put my hands up.
You said you didn't see anything special in Bud before the fight.
Now, against one of the top pound-for-pounders, you hung in there. What did you learn about yourself?
Just need to go back to the drawing board, and, you know, those little punches like that can end the fight. It was 10 seconds left. I mean, like I said, I take nothing from him. I gave him a good fight. I don't think he thought I was going to give him a good fight like that, but I take nothing from him. He's the best of the best, and I just wanted to give the fans a good show.
Thank you very much. Tess, we send it back to you.
Thank you very much, Bernardo. Want to remind everybody that coming up in moments, John Buccigross and Captain Midnight, Kenny Mayne, will have SportsCenter. What a day it was in college football. We have upsets in the top 10. Teddy and Stephen A. will have the post-fight reaction and frame the narrative on that guy, the best in the world. SportsCenter is coming up. Quick break, and we'll wrap things up on the big night from Bud.
Fans showed up in Omaha, Nebraska to see their native son deliver a 12th round knockout of Jose Benavidez Jr. Terence Crawford now 34-0 with 25 wins coming by way of knockout. Kevin Connor's back alongside the Olympic gold medalist and 5-time world champion Andre Ward. Andre, the great ones can win fights. The best of the best pound for pound can do it with flair. What did we learn about Terence Crawford tonight?
I mean, we learned what we already knew for those who follow Terence. Like, he's the best of the best. There's still some champions in the 47-pound division. There's 3 other good champions that we want to see. The fans, myself, want to see fight to see who's going to come out on top. We don't care about the politics. We just want to see the fights. As far as tonight, he did what he had to do. Benavidez, you got to give him credit. He's 18-some-odd months removed from getting shot. Well, you know, maybe a little bit longer than that, from getting shot in the leg. You can see the leg gave him issues tonight, but he landed some shots. He took some good shots, but the cream rose to the top. You saw why Terence Crawford is arguably the best fighter in the world and why he's the champion, because he separated himself from Benavidez, and Benavidez could not keep up.
What's next for Terence Crawford? Well, he's headed to Monday Night Football with our pal Joe Tessitore. The big Green Bay Packers fan will be at Lambeau Field for Monday night's game against the Niners. A reminder that Friday, November 16th, our top-ranked boxing main event features Maurice Hooker defending his WBO junior welterweight title. And then on Saturday, October 20th, Murata and Brandt comes your way on ESPN+. The undercards get underway 7 p.m. Eastern. Was this a night to remember or what? Shakur Stevenson in the opener with dynamite in his right hand, a first-round knockout, and then a dominant performance by the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, Terence Bud Crawford, an electrifying 12th round knockout. For Joe Tessitore, Mark Kriegel, Tim Bradley, Andre Ward, Bernardo Osuna, and our entire crew, I'm Kevin Connor saying so long from Omaha. SportsCenter is next.